You ever find yourself sitting in a kayak minding your own business, and next thing you know, three sheriff's patrol cars are circling you in the middle of your own lake lights, flashing like you're some kind of criminal mastermind? Yeah. Welcome to my Thursday morning. The deputy's got one hand on his holster and the other pointing at me, saying, "Sir, you need to paddle to shore immediately. We've had reports of criminal trespassing on HOA property." Meanwhile, there's Cordelia Blackthorne, HOA queen herself, standing on the bank with a megaphone that looks custom-made to match her $800 sneakers, her silver hair glinting in the sun, and half the neighborhood behind her phones up waiting to see me get hauled off like some lakefront outlaw. But here's the thing about growing up the son of a water engineer and spending 5 years with the EPA, you learn to read more than just the water. So I steadied my voice and called out across the water, "Before you do anything, you might want to contact the Coast Guard District 9. This here's a federally designated waterway, and what Mrs. Blackthorne has built." I waved my paddle at her fancy jet ski dock, stretching way out into the water. That's an illegal obstruction under Title 33 of the United States Code. You could practically see the gears grinding in that deputy's head, his hand sliding away from his holster. From 50 yards out, I saw Cordelia's smile break. She'd spent the last 3 years calling this her lake holding court, collecting HOA fees and handing out dock keys to her favorites. It never crossed her mind someone might paddle out and pull the federal card right in front of God and the Blackthorne Estates HOA. "That's impossible," she barked, voice echoing off the water. "This is private HOA property. We've managed this water sports facility since 2020. Oh, if only she knew what was coming. What I had on my side wasn't just legal paperwork. I had a chunk of American history from 1887, a forgotten bit of federal code, and let's be honest, a lifetime of being underestimated. Now, if someone tried to steal your lake and call 911 on you, wouldn't you want to know exactly how to fight back? Go ahead, hit that like button for me and drop where you're watching from, because things are about to get wild. Now let me back up a sec. 72 hours earlier, I was just a guy trying to disappear. Name's Thaddeus Knox, 38, ex-EPA water quality inspector turned whistleblower with a $2.3 million settlement and a target on my back courtesy of the chemical company I exposed. I had death threats, cars tailing me through Virginia, 3 a.m., phone calls with some heavy-breathing stranger promising accidents happen. My lawyer said, "Thaddeus, take the money and vanish." So I did what any reasonable man with trust issues and a fat check would do, started hunting for the loneliest, most off-grid property I could find. Most listings were overpriced cabins and rotten farms. Nothing I'd trust to keep me safe if Big Chemical sent a goon squad. Then I saw it, abandoned recreational lake, 450 grand, all water rights and underground springs included. Pictures showed 40 acres of pure Michigan wild, ringed with ancient pines. Old summer camp buildings crumbling on the shore. Probate had tied it up after the last owner died. Nobody wanted the hassle. The listing said quick cash sale. It had my name written all over it. Met the agent, Dorothy Fitzgerald, on a foggy Thursday. She looked like she'd rather be anywhere else, muttering about complications with the neighboring HOA. That should have been my first warning, but I only had eyes for the lake. Murky water, sure, but fed by underground springs bubbling up from limestone, clean enough to drink if you know what you're doing. Around the edges, I saw tire tracks, empty beer cans, sketchy docks built from 2x4s and hope. But what really caught my eye was a faded concrete post, half swallowed by bushes, stamped with an ancient Coast Guard seal. Dorothy tried to distract me with talk of summer camps and absentee landlords, but all I cared about was that water. 40 acres, all rights cash as is. "I'll take it," I told her. She looked stunned. "You sure you don't want an inspection?" I grinned. "Ma'am, I know water. This lake has good bones." By Monday, it was mine. First thing I did, installed cameras. Second, started clearing out the trash. That's when the pieces started falling into place. More concrete posts, all with matching seals and numbers circling the lake like ancient sentries. That night, I dove into maritime records. Turns out this lake was called Timber Float Station 7, designated a federal waterway in 1887 for timber transport. Thanks to the Rivers and Harbors Act, any structure built here needs an Army Corps permit. None of the HOA's junk had that. No sooner had I pieced this together than I heard the unmistakable whine of jet skis. 5 of them racing across my lake, headlights slicing the night, followed by a pontoon party boat with enough coolers to fuel a frat party. I recorded everything: license numbers, faces, voices laughing about Cordelia's new docks and how awesome the water sports program is. My lake, my water, my problem now. Next morning, 3 Mercedes SUVs show up at the eastern shore. Out steps Cordelia Blackthorne, 5'8", athleisure for days, power bob haircut, flanked by 2 clipboard commandos and a camera woman snapping shoreline photos like she's scouting for a reality show. After 10 minutes of watching them measure and gesture and generally act like they owned the place, I figured it was time for a neighborly chat. Morning. I'm Thaddeus Knox, new owner. Saw y'all here last night. Thought I'd introduce myself. The clipboards exchanged a look. Cordelia's smile was pure ice. I think you're mistaken. This is the Blackthorne Estates Community Water Recreation Area. Our HOA claimed it during the COVID emergency. She waved off my deed, claiming adverse possession, said her husband's construction company spent $100,000 on improvements. I looked at the zip-tied docks and nearly laughed out loud. Got permits from the Army Corps. I asked, phone recording in my hand. Silence. This is a federal waterway from 1887. You need permits for every board, every jet ski. You did know that. Right, Cordelia lost it. This is private. It doesn't connect to anything. Doesn't matter. I said federal designation stands until Congress says otherwise. One clipboard woman started Googling. Her face got paler with each search. I told them to clear out 30 days or I'd bring in the feds. Cordelia shrieked. Threatened attorneys said I was stealing community resources. I told her to call a lawyer who knew maritime law because local rules don't beat federal regulations. Later that day, I got a text from Augustus Vale board member. Can we talk? Not over text. We met at the old pier out of sight. Augustus cardigan and thick glasses told me how Cordelia changed after COVID pushed. New bylaws ran the lake like a fiefdom, funneled perks to friends, kept the books closed. Would you testify? I asked. He sighed. Yeah. Somebody has to stand up to her. That night's emergency HOA meeting was like walking into a shark tank. Cordelia tried to play victim. Her husband, Nathaniel Beergut, under a branded polo, claimed I was an outsider. The lawyer tried to kick me out. I laid out the federal designation, the screenshots, the $8,000 a month in unreported revenue. Augustus and a growing chorus of residents demanded to see the books. Cordelia's mask slipped. She screamed, "You're destroying our community!" But by then, even her allies were backing away. A forensic accountant named Sarah volunteered to help Augustus audit the finances. In minutes, the crowd was openly discussing audit suspensions, even calling the state AG. Cordelia's lawyer packed his briefcase and quit on the spot. Nathaniel threatened me, tried to get physical, but Augustus stepped between us. Later, as people scrambled for answers, I caught Nathaniel trying to steal equipment with his workers, removing evidence tampering with federal property. I recorded everything. Called the sheriff, filed reports. Cordelia herself tried vandalizing my car that night, slashed tires, sugar in the tank, but left her tennis bracelet watch behind as evidence. Deputies advised me to call the FBI. The next morning, the Army Corps of Engineers arrived. Their inspection found 43 violations, $600,000 in fines if they cooperated, more if they didn't. EPA got involved. By day's end, Cordelia was in the hospital after a breakdown. Nathaniel was in handcuffs, and the entire board was either hiding or flipping sides. In the weeks that followed, it all unraveled. Forensic audits revealed $200,000 missing. The HOA dissolved. Augustus led a new conservation group, and Sarah helped recover $80,000 for restitution. I renovated the old camp into an education center, let the community use the lake legally with real insurance waivers and federal permits. Families came back this time above board. Kids swam safely, learning about water quality in a place that belonged to everyone, not just the power-hungry few. And Cordelia, she pled guilty. Did time tried to pull the same stunt in Arizona and wound up on the news again. Nathaniel lost everything company contracts reputation. Justice for once was more than just a word. It was the clean water under a summer sun, kids splashing where greed once ruled. So what would you have done? If an HOA tried to steal your property, would you have fought back or just walked away? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your stories about justice property or the wildest HOA drama you've ever seen. And if you think standing up for what's right is worth a like, hit that button and share your own story below. Because sometimes the law is the only thing between you and the folks who think everything's for sale, including your lake.